We used to use the hemp plant for shipbuilding, roads. We have been using this plant for thousands of years, dating back to the earliest records that we have, that this plant has been used. And yet somehow here in the United States, in the past 100 years, there has been a campaign against it. There's been a war.
Yeah, with
completely
reefer madness,
waged.
right?
Yes. And it's insane. Like, you're hearing people say, oh, I'm a Christian, I'm going up against this. But if I'm going to call it out, if you're a Christian and you say this one plant is bad, but yet God gave us this, it was used in the Old Testament. And in the New Testament, one of Jesus' disciples, Luke was a physician. So when you actually start peeling the onion back and looking at the historical records and what plants that they were using that particular plant as medicine. So it's safe to say that, okay, Luke being a physician in that time period when Jesus was alive, that he would have been up to date on all the latest treatments and documents. And to say, okay, that is safe to say that Luke was more than likely using that plant as treatment. And yet now we're being villainized and criminalized for it?
Why is it demonized in America?
It started off in a campaign in the early 1900s. I'm working on some of the full bases of what industry it fully affected, but it first started off as a propaganda with the FBI to say, look, we don't like certain groups of people, and we're going to start squashing them. For Texas, it was the Hispanics, and in Louisiana, it was the African Americans. They used the marijuana plant, and we had massive fields growing in the Rio Grande Valley. Texas, that was one of the products that we had been growing here for centuries, natively. And then, a little over 100 years ago, there was a fear and lie campaign that was pushed out. The propaganda happened in such force that within a couple of generations, it was believed. As Adolf Hitler had said, if you want to change the perception of society, you first influence the youth. And with our own intelligence agencies, we have seen when a lie gets pushed again and again and again, it becomes truth, and you can eradicate the truth completely within 3 generations. And by the time the 3rd generation hits, guess what? Now that lie has become truth because you've accepted it. Everyone else who knew the lie or who knew that the lie was a lie is no longer alive.
Okay, so you're saying we had groves and groves of marijuana growing in Texas since the beginning of time?
Yes, sir, in the Rio Grande Valley.
That is fascinating. So there's a serious effort to ensure that doesn't to suppress that.
Yes, sir. There's been a fight and a war against that the past 100 years. And it looked like we were on the right track here this session because my opponent was trying to criminalize 10% of Texans who used the THC product. Our Governor Abbott vetoed that complete ban and the criminalization. And our Agricultural Commissioner, Sid Miller, he's all for it. He's all for industrial hemp because we can see the mass uses. You can make over 50,000 products from industrial hemp. You can make wood that will not burn. That you can put a direct flame to it for 30 minutes and it will not burn. I've seen the videos and the testing done with this. I have friends who are getting asked by California right now to build homes out of full hemp because it doesn't burn. It's an industry that is ramping up. Since the 2018 Farm Bill that President Trump in his first term signed in, we got to see the industry start to explode and to grow to be substantial. And now it is rivaling and it is pushing forward. And yet again, as we're starting to see more growth happen, it is getting stifled.
So isn't President Trump right now proposing a nationwide ban on THC?
He's supporting it. I don't believe he was the one who pushed it forward. But he's supporting it because we want to get the government open. I don't know if that's something he is fully supportive of. My thing is, President Trump in his first term, he said, look, let's do some regulation. Let's expand industrial hemp. And that was on the right track. But now something has happened this past couple of weeks where now there's a bit of a shift. And I want to stick with Governor Abbott on, hey, look, this in Texas is a multi-billion dollar a year industry. We have 50,000 plus jobs, 8,000 businesses, and the industry keeps ramping up, and we can do so much good with that. And we need to bring back in industry and industrial complexes here. Now, one unique thing when it comes to industrial hemp, under the 2018 Farm Bill that Trump put into effect, he had an order for for China to buy some of our industrial hemp. But we didn't have enough, and we still don't have enough to produce to send to China and meet the quantities of his Farm Bill. So if we're able to focus on the industrial hemp and the grows here in Texas and the United States, we're gonna be able to export that to foreign countries. We can solve a lot of our issues and start reinvigorating farming in Texas and America. This is one of the ways that we can make America industrial might and great again.
I mean, like, we've on this show we've talked about the amount of natural resources. James talked about it considerably about the amount of natural resources under our feet. It's unimaginable how much is under there. We've talked about the agriculture sector and how productive that is in the state of Texas, affecting the world. We're a behemoth there. And this addition that potentially, if we could add THC and be just a big producer there as well, it's just amazing what the state of Texas brings to the markets. But instead, we have our political class trying to push casinos on us. It's like our political class wanting to bring Hollywood to Texas. It's like our political class, they don't get it. They are always being served by corporate interests that, by the way, right now, our energy, we had the railroad commissioner on, and he explained how our energy policy is being dictated by investors of the companies we contract with, and those investors are not Texans. So they're the ones that are deciding that we get windmills. Okay, guys, I want to switch subjects real quick. One of the things we talked about in the room was the Marvin Nichols Reservoir and what's going on there. James, what is the issue with the Marvin? Well, first of all, tell us where it's at, where it's located, and what the issue is with it.
Okay, the Marvin Nichols Reservoir is in northeast Texas. It is where Region C Water Board, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth area, is in direct conflict with Region D, the Northeast Texas Water Board. They're wanting to use eminent domain to take up roughly...
Who is wanting to use eminent domain?
Region C.
What is Region C?
Region C of the Texas Water Development.
Okay, so the Texas Water Development Board is an agency that constructs reservoirs for the purposes of maintaining water so we can have water available to us, correct?
Well, they find different ways of water development, whether it's drilling wells or using reservoirs or other means, desal in the Gulf, whatever. Their main mission is to make sure Texas has water for sale.
Okay, again, so who wants
Region C
of the Texas Water?
of the Texas Water Board.
Okay,
And
tell me about that.
they are wanting to use eminent domain on 300,000 acres of farmland, timberland, primarily in that entire area, rural, and it is, very, it has a lot of agricultural aspects to it, so we would lose a lot of timberland.
Okay,
and
can I
stuff.